Hey, welcome back. I went shopping at Ulta for like the first time in ages for makeup. I had popped in and out when stores started reopening, but you couldn't really test makeup out. So I've just been ordering all of my makeup online for the past year and a half, and this was kind of just like a fun little quick trip. There were quite a few new drugstore launches that I was interested in trying, and luckily I found all of them. The first being the Maybelline 4-in-1 Perfector Glow Makeup. Word on the blog is that this is a dupe for Charlotte Tilbury's Hollywood Flawless Filter. I don't know, I literally just got this stuff and I kind of just wanted to play around with it. I saw Rosalie Rouge, aka her name's Kelsey Martin, here on YouTube. I'll link her channel and her Instagram down below. She talked about this being a pretty good dupe for Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. So, by the way, if you don't follow her, she does great reviews and makeup photography. So again, channel down below. Oh, I am excited about this, baby. This is the Loreal Infallible Pro Plumping Gloss. We know if plump is in the name, I'm gonna be picking it up. e.l.f. Putty Blush, Milani Supercharged Cream Bronzer. I mean, we've got some stuff to go through. The only thing I'm going to be using that's not drugstore is this bareMinerals Mineralist shadow palette. They came out with a lot of new eyeshadow palettes, and this one just looks so classic and pretty. I just thought, what the heck, we'll go for it today. So that's what we're doing. Let's go. So the Maybelline 4-in-1 Perfector, of course, kind of has this spongy tip applicator. You know what? I really do like the sponge tip, but it does waste a lot of product. So if you didn't know, you can actually take that off and you can just kind of squeeze your product out that way. That's what I'm gonna do so we can be resourceful here. Basically, you just twist and it's gonna come out of this little tube now. Okay, I got mine in the shade 00 Fair Light. I compared this color to the next shade up, which was light medium. They looked almost identical. Even the girl that was helping me find these in the store was like, I cannot tell a difference. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of dot this all over. This kind of does look a little bit more makeup-y than the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, as in it kind of appears to have a little bit more of like a skin tone pigment. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna blend this in with my fingers. Yeah, this is kind of coming off a little bit more like BB cream like, you know what I mean? The Hollywood Flawless Filter is very much like a sheer veil. This actually looks a little bit more like a BB cream, but I like it. I like the way it looks. Ooh, she's rich, she's hydrating, she is glowy. Now, I am going to say that this is pretty dark to be a fair light category. So if you are extremely fair, like if you are even just a shade, 2 shades lighter than me, this is probably going to come off a little dark on you. Okay, I think this is really pretty. And this color is like an almost identical match for my face to my neck. Very good match for my skin tone. I think there's only about 5 shades in this because they're supposed to be like universal, you know, blending in. It's not actual foundation. So they only came out with, I believe, 5. But this lightest color does appear to be a really great match for me. And I would say this is kind of like a bump up from Hollywood Flawless Filter, like slightly a little bit more coverage. Hollywood Flawless Filter doesn't really provide me with much coverage. This does. I think me like. Something else that I'm also noticing is that although this is very glowy, it's not as intensely glowy as Hollywood Flawless Filter. This has quite a bit of, you know, obviously my face looks very nice and radiant, but Hollywood Flawless Filter can sometimes take it to a new level. Like you can look like a shiny light bulb if you're not careful. This, I would say, is toned down a little bit. I like to use Hollywood Flawless Filter as my last step, is almost like a highlighter on my face, and I don't think I would use this product for that, because it's not giving 100% the same effect. This very much to me is like a complexion product. Okay, I like this. This is very much sheer perfected, like sun goddess summer vibes. If you're someone that does not enjoy the feel of foundation, but you want like a very nice, healthy, radiant, sheer bit of coverage, I think it looks really pretty. I'm very impressed with this. I feel like we're gonna sell this product out. I don't know why, but I feel like it is probably going to be a hit. Keep in mind that if you are my skin tone or maybe even slightly darker, the fair, the 00, and whatever the next shade up, they looked almost identical in store. Like I could not tell a difference. So if 00 sells out, I'm sure the next shade up would be appropriate, but I'm feeling kind of confident that this is gonna be, it could very well be the next Drugstore IT product. Okay, we're gonna move along, and I actually want to put on a little bit of this L'Oreal gloss. I got two. I got the shades 602 Sheer Blossom, which I'm fixing to put on just to give my lips a little bit of color. And then at the end of the video, I want to finish the look off with 610 Nude Twinkle, which has a little bit more pigment. I thought this like slightly lighter, like pink color. Oh, it looks just like NARS Turkish Delight. If you remember, that used to be like Kim Kardashian's signature lip gloss color. It's a very milky pink. So let's just go ahead and throw some on. We'll see what kind of plumping action it has. Very heavy, sweet scent, and I cannot put my finger on it. What is that? It kind of reminds me of like children's bubblegum medicine. Not super crazy about that scent, but let's see what kind of like plumping action it has. Okay, and this was the shade 602 Sheer Blossom. Definitely, it's kind of like gradually getting a little bit more like tingly. I didn't feel anything when I put it on, and it's starting to like build up just a little bit. So let's keep an eye on this. Overall, like finish wise, I'm not getting like plump, juicy vibes like I get with the Milani glosses. This is a little bit more flat on my lips. I'm gonna take a little bit of the Colourpop Pretty Fresh concealer. I got this in the shade Fair 15, I think. Fair 15W. It was kind of hard to tell like what my color would be in this concealer. It seemed like the shades were either too dark or too light. This one's probably going to be slightly light on me, but I'd rather it be too light than, you know, have orange under eyes. So definitely very natural coverage vibes. I'm gonna add a little bit more. I like the way this Glow Perfector is pairing with concealer. I think this is like the perfect combination for it. You could definitely use it as a primer, but for me, I think using it as my base and then adding a bit of concealer on top, that takes it to another level, you know? Okay, Milani Supercharged Luminous Gel Stick and Electric Bronze. I'm excited about this. I am just going to apply it directly since I do have a very sheer base happening. This kind of reminds me of the Merit color that I used recently in my like 5-minute makeup video. A little bit more like bronzy, a little bit more bronzy terracotta-ish. Definitely sheer. I think I'm just gonna blend it out with my blender. It's very pretty and skin-like. It's blending out phenomenally well. I'm like losing all of my hair right now because I'm at the 4-month postpartum stage. Not fun. A little report back on this L'Oreal lip gloss. Definitely like minty vibes. Do I see a difference in my lips? No. Which I don't appreciate, okay? It's one thing if you're a plumping gloss and you give me some like juicy full shine, But if you're just hanging out on my lips being minty, especially in the wintertime, like freezing my lips off, and I'm not getting the benefit of full juicy lips, no. And it could just be this color. I was very wary of purchasing this color, but the gloss is creating like white film on the inside of my lips, which is a complete no for me. I know that's probably from it being more of a like creamy color, but no, we can't get down with that. Okay, what do we think of the skin right now? Because I'm kind of a fan. I can't tell if I have an orange hairline because I literally have lost like half of my hairline at this point, but forgive me if that's the case. But I like the way my skin looks right now. Let's move into the e.l.f. Putty Blush. I have seen, I think Amanda Z talk about these, and I got mine in the shade Tahiti, which is a nice kind of classic rosebud color. Let's give her a little swatch here. Very, very balmy texture. We've got quite a bit of color payoff coming off here. I would say like somewhere in the medium category. It's not super sheer like Glossier Cloud Paint, but also not as pigmented as, let's say, like the Milani Cheek Kiss cream blushes. Kind of reminding me of the Undone Beauty palette that I used recently. Kind of like that medium payoff blush in that palette. So I'm just gonna take my sponge, lightly tap this on the cheeks. I actually just picked up a little bit extra on the tip of my sponge, blending out really nicely. A little bit more sheer than what I was expecting. Personally, I like what's happening here. Everything is looking nice and proper. I am adding a touch more concealer to my under eye area. I had a brief intermission to feed Max, so this is actually like an hour later, so you can kind of see how stuff's like been holding up on the face. Honestly, pretty impressed. Everything looks super natural. I haven't set anything yet. I just left it as is, and we're going to continue on to brows. So this is the Brow Boss Gel from Colourpop. I got blonde, as I usually do, because we know I like a nice soft natural brow. This is definitely giving me boy brow vibes from Glossier, like even the packaging. And the way that it's applying is giving me boy brow vibes, which I'm not mad about because most of you know that was like my go-to for years. And I mean, I still use it, but I also really like the Charlotte Tilbury one. I like my e.l.f. Wow Brow. This is very similar to e.l.f. Wow Brow and Glossier Boy Brow, I would say. Honestly, not too shabby. I kind of like it. If you hear massive snorting in the background, that's Max. I get asked why I don't really show him on YouTube versus Instagram. I'm more open with sharing photos of him. I just feel like YouTube is a whole other game. There's just random people that stumble on your videos, and there's just, I get crazy comments as it is, whereas on Instagram, things are, I feel like it's more of a community vibe going on there. Those of you who choose to follow me on there obviously want to see like more personal things. So that's why I don't really show him in videos. Honestly, not too shabby. I actually really like that. I think the color was appropriate for my skin tone and it applied really evenly, filled in nicely. We love to see it. So now let's move into this little palette from bareMinerals. This is the Mineralist palette, and it is the Ultra Natural palette. I like it because it's slightly more cool toned. So we're just gonna play around with it. I'm gonna take Ecru first and just kind of use that as a base, and then probably move into Dawn in my crease, and then I'm gonna use Slate as a liner, and we'll take it from there. I don't like that there's no mirror. I will say that. I have used one of these palettes already. I feel like I'm probably not the best person to gauge eyeshadow palettes because I rarely use them and I rarely purchase them. I think I'm going to use this one before I kind of weigh in on my thoughts. Again, I'm taking the shade called Dawn, just slightly on the outer corner of my eye and in my crease. I'm going to take taupe number 2 to deepen out my outer corner. Pigment wise, I would say these are, just from the 2 palettes I've used, I would say these are on the lighter side of the pigment spectrum, which I don't mind because sometimes palettes are just so pigmented that they're almost too, like it makes them harder to work with. So I'm finding that this is pretty easy to work with, but I know some of you like really prefer that super intense pigment. And this is definitely a little bit more of like a buildable formula. Right now I'm going to use Slate number 6 as a liner. Okay, lastly, I'm going to take Shell, which is this kind of shimmery color in the palette, and I'm just going to pop that where I've left my eye bare on this inner corner. I think I'm just going to use my finger for this. Take a little bit more of Dawn, number 5, blend that out. Definitely a very classic natural eye vibe. This kind of is nostalgic for me. I don't know, just like my go-to daily eye look. Not too smoky, not too natural. It's kind of just somewhere in between. But overall, I mean, the shadows perform really well. I think there's just like this huge misconception that you have to have a ton of pigment to be a good performing eyeshadow, and that's not always the case. As long as there's some good longevity, there's grip, and the blendability's there, I find that to be just as useful as a shadow that has a ton of pigment. Honestly, most of the time when I work with shadow palettes that have a lot of packed pigment, I find that I just have to be more careful. Like I have to be more careful blending, tapping my brush. So this is it's a pretty solid formula. I'm gonna add a little bit of Maybelline Sky High. So Max's new thing is like spit bubbles. So he's just constantly sitting here making spit bubble noises with his lips. But I'm going to apply this lip pencil I found. It's from NYX. I don't think it's new, but I've never tried it before. It's kind of like a combo of a lip liner and a lipstick, which we love to see. We love to see multi-use. And then I'm going to top it with that other Infallible plumping gloss in the shade Nude Twinkle. Not really a fan of, can't say that that first color did anything for me. It didn't even make my lips look fuller. So we'll see if maybe this shade can redeem itself. I don't know. Okay, here we are, final look. The lip's a little bit more pink than what I prefer. I knew I would regret. They had a little bit more of like the brown undertones, you know, my vibe. But here I am trying to reach out, I wouldn't say do anything different because it's just like a regular pink. But for this overall look, I would have loved to see something a little bit more brown, but I do like the pencil lipstick combo, and it had a little brush on the end that made smoothing everything out like really nice as well. So let's recap. This is the star of the show, people. I am impressed. I think it could definitely fall as a dupe for Hollywood Flawless Filter. And not only that, but maybe a little bit more of a versatile formula. Hollywood Flawless Filter, like I said, you can really look like a light bulb by the end of the day with that. This is just super natural, perfected skin. It's kind of the vibe that I at least aspire for every day with my makeup. So I'm pretty pleased with it. Would definitely love to see some more shades in the works, because I'm just gonna say it. If you are lighter than me, even by just like a full shade, this might be a little dark on you. Same thing goes for the deeper shades. It just is a very shallow category to have 5 colors, but I understand that it is not meant to be a full-on foundation. It's just kind of like that multitasking style of product. So I have my Merit Flush Balm here, which I love. It's in the shade Terracotta. I want to swatch it beside this Electric Bronze shade that I used today and see what the difference is. Okay, well, pretty similar here. So this is the Milani and this is the Merit. The Milani is definitely like more dewy, balmy texture. The Merit it's got a little bit more grip. The Merit has a little bit more grip to it, but tone-wise, very similar. The e.l.f. Putty Blush, I like the formula of this. I wouldn't put it above the Milani Cheek Kiss cream blushes, but it's nice and sheer and natural. Pretty buildable. I'd say built up to like a light medium finish. It didn't really build up to something that's going to give me a ton of pigment. But for those of you who are super natural, not trying to get ultra blushy with your day-to-day look, I think it would be perfectly fine. And then I would say overall, the only real dud for me are these lip glosses. These are kind of like a no-go at this point. The smell is very overwhelming. I'm not even seeing with this darker color, I'm not seeing a difference in my lips like I do with the Milani ones. Those are it. They are juicy. They are plump. And I would 10 out of 10 pick the Milani ones over those. So I hope you enjoyed seeing some of these drugstore products in action. It was a pleasure to shop for makeup in store again. Let me know if you've been out and about, picked anything new up. And also let me know if you're going to try out the Maybelline 4-in-1 Perfector, because I would love to know your opinion on it as well. All right, kiddo, you have sabotaged this video enough. So we're going to roll out. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.